Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about one very important topic, that is TCP IP model. So the different topics that we are going to cover today are: the first we will discuss about introduction on TCP IP model, then about the different layers of TCP IP. Third, we will discuss about the different protocols that work under TCP IP for the proper coordination of messages delivery. Then in the fourth, we will discuss about comparison between OSI and TCP IP model. So let's move to our first slide, introduction on TCP IP. Basically, TCP IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol / Internet Protocol. If we want to define the TCP IP in the very simple words, then we can say that it is a standard communication protocol that allows the various computers in the network to share their resources and communicate with each other. So this is the basic and the major advantage of TCP IP, that is the communication among them. Then third, it handles the reliable delivery of messages across the network. It means that the messages sent from the sender will be delivered to the receiver in the very coordinated manner, and there will be a feedback or response back also from the receiver to sender back. So this was all about the TCP IP model. So next we are having layers of TCP IP. There are four major layers. The first one is network interface layer. It is also called as network layer. The second, internet layer. Then the third one is transport layer. Transport layer is very important layer under TCP IP. Then in the last, fourth layer is application layer. So let's move to the next slide. We are having some protocols that works under the TCP IP model. So according to the layers, we can understand in the application layer, it is the end user layer actually. Here HTTP, FTP, POP3, SMTP, these various protocols work. Like HTTP we are having for the websites for displaying the web pages on the browser. Next FTP for the transfer purpose, for transferring files, etc. Then POP3 and SMTP, these are used for email purposes. So the second is transport layer. Under transport layer, we are having two major protocols. The protocols are TCP and UDP. TCP is very reliable protocol as compared to the UDP, user datagram protocol. UDP is like connectionless protocol, but in case of TCP, we are having connection oriented message delivery. So the next is internet layer, that is IP protocol works under here. The fourth, we are having network access or network interface layer, where Ethernet, ERP, IP protocols work. So the different full forms and the abbreviations for these terms are HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, then Post Office Protocol, then SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, which is used for the mail purpose, then UTP, as I told you, User Datagram Protocol, which is connection less protocol for the message delivery across the network, then IP Internet Protocol, then ICMP Internet Control Message Protocol, then the last, that is the ARP Address Resolution Protocol, which is used for the mapping purpose of IP address with the MAC addresses of different systems. So these are the different protocols. So next we are having about the functions of TCP IP layers. First, according to the layer, we can understand the different functions performed by the different layers. So the first, network layer functions. So it controls all the hardware devices and the media. So it provides the interconnection between the various hosts so that they can communicate easily with each other. So there must be some interconnection. That is the responsibility of network layer. The second is internet layer. It specifies the best appropriate path through which the message has to be delivered from the sender to the receiver. It simply means that the routing of the data is possible through this layer. So the next is transport layer. What is the major function of transport layer? It is responsible for the transmission of messages and communication across the computer network. We can say that in case of transport layer, the proper messages are delivered from one side to another. It provides the end-to-end data delivery. So in the last we are having application layer, which is the end user layer. It represents the data to the users. Like HTTP and FTP are used on the browser for displaying like websites, web pages, and we can say that for the transfer of files from one side to another, that is also the responsibility of application layer. For email purposes, we are having like POP3 and SMTP. Then for the security of the websites, we are having SSL, socket secure layer. Then in the last we are having SNMP, network management protocol. So this was all about the different functions performed by the different layer present in TCP IP. So finally we are coming up with the comparison between the OSI and TCP IP model. As we know that in case of OSI, we are having 7 layers. But in case of TCP, we are having only 4 layers. But these 4 layers are really equivalent to the 7 layers of OSI model. That is why nowadays we are using TCP IP. So we can compare the both models over here. So application layer and presentation layer of OSI is really equivalent to the application layer of TCP IP. So it means that the two layers performing in OSI, those functions are performed by the single layer in the TCP IP model. Similarly, we can have plans over other layers also. So this is about the simple comparison between the layers of OSI and TCP IP. So in the last, let's have some MCQs related to the same topic. So the question is, which of the following protocol do not work under application layer of TCP IP? So the correct answer is option number 3, UDP. As we know that user datagram protocol is used in transport layer. It is not working under the application layer of TCP IP. So the correct answer is UDP. And it is basically the connectionless protocol where there is no proper connection between the sender and receiver for the delivery of the data. So there may be the chances that message gets distorted in the path even. So let's come to the second question. What is the exact full form of ARP? So the ARP is Address Resolution Protocol. Option number 1 is the correct answer for this question. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. Address resolution protocols, it maps the IP address to MAC addresses. These are really maintained in RAM of the system. We can say that ARP, these protocols are used for mapping between IP to MAC, but these are really controlled by some devices. But in some of the cases, according to the requirement, it can be modified by the network administrators also. So this is all about the TCP IP model.